everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video we are going to be carrying on from Tuesday's video where we went out to Chelmsford Boot Fair and we had an absolutely amazing day. What I'll do is I will put a link up in the top corner. If you haven't seen that video already, jump over, watch that before you watch the pickups, because yeah, it was an amazing trip out. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a boot fair that I will be visiting. Probably wait until the local boot fairs close again. But yeah, definitely somewhere that I'll be visiting again. But yeah, we got so many amazing stuff and so much retro. So yeah, what we'll do is I'd already filmed the pickups part of the video, but when I was editing the video from Tuesday, just realised that the video would be so long that I had to split it. So yeah, I've already filmed this. So what we'll do is we'll chop over to the footage that I'd already filmed, and then yeah, we'll go through everything that I've picked up. Okay, so that is going to wrap up our trip to Chelmsford, and I have to say we have got such an amazing mix of stuff today. Yeah, do you know what? I'm just going to dive straight in. And the first lot of stuff we got was actually from a seller that I have met before. This was a seller that actually goes to Swanley. And I had a look through some of his stuff there. But yeah, didn't pick anything up when I was in Swanley. But there was a couple of bits that you had there. And yeah, really happy to add them in. So the first one that we've got is actually a NES game. And that is Kickoff. Now, I have to say, playing this for the footage for the video, it was awful. Really was. I don't even want to start the video off complaining about a game, but yeah, this was absolutely awful to play. And I'm not on about it from a sort of a graphics perspective or anything. It is purely a gameplay perspective, because the players are zipping around like Sonic on drugs, and whenever you touch an opponent player, they just instantly, it's an instant foul. And yeah, just didn't enjoy it at all. It is not a football game that I'll be going back to anytime soon. So yeah, for Kickoff, we paid £5 for that. Goes for £3 at CEX and £6 on eBay. Then I'm just going to carry on these, and I'll tell you once we get to the end of the bits from this seller. Next up, we've got a SNES game. So I did say it's going to be a real mix today. And this is a game that I absolutely love. I've got it on the Mega Drive, but this one is just cart. And that is Flashback. So this is an absolutely brilliant game. I remember the very first time I played it on the Mega Drive, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Don't mean I've never completed it, but every time I've sort of sat down and played it, I've got a bit further each time. But yeah, it was, at the time, it was just so far ahead of anything else that was out there. Obviously now it is dated, but at the time, like the cutscenes, the sort of polygon graphics and everything like that on the Mega Drive and the SNES were miles ahead of what anything else you were seeing. So yeah, I was really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed playing it back then, and really enjoy playing it now. So for Flashback, we paid £5 again for that. Goes for £4 at CEX, £12 on eBay. Then we move on to the Mega Drive, and yeah, this one we've got it's another cart only, and actually this is a game that I used to own, and I think what happened was it was another game that I'd done a swap for, and it was actually the same swap that I was on about before. So we've got Bob on the Mega Drive, and I had a friend at the time who I swapped this game with, and my Game Genie. And yeah, it was meant to be just a temporary swap. He wanted to sort of try them out, blah blah, and then yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know whether he refused to do the swap back, or he moved or something. I don't know what happened, but it ended up that I lost my Game Genie and this game, and ended up with Bob, a game that I can't remember the last time I played it. So to pick this up, even though it's cart only, and I'm definitely going to carry on looking to try and get it complete again, but that is Alex the Kid in the Enchanted Castle. I was about to say Alex the Kid in Miracle World, but that's a Master System game. So yeah, this is Alex the Kid in the Enchanted Castle. I will say it's not a great game to play, but it is a game that I've really wanted to get back into the collection. It's one of the very few games that I have had, and either it's been lost or it's been traded away for some reason or another. But really glad to have a copy of this back in the collection now. So for this, we paid £10 for that. Goes for £6 on both CEX and eBay in cart only. But as I say, I am going to look to get another copy. I want a complete copy. I've looked about trying to get just the case and the manual, but yeah, everywhere I'm looking, it's always sort of CIB. So yeah, I will probably end up just biting the bullet and buying a complete copy. Then next up, we've got a PSP game. Now I will say, before we get into this PSP game, I haven't managed to capture any footage for this. I'll be honest, there's a couple of games tonight that we don't have footage for, mainly the doubles, but this one I wasn't able to capture footage in time to get the video out, and that is Pursuit Force. So looking on the back, it looks basically like a mixture between sort of driving and a sort of running shooter game, sort of like a 3D shooter. I'll be honest, I saw it in the box. It wasn't a game that I'd seen before, and the fact that it was a PSP game and a game that I hadn't seen before, and I have to say the cover art does look cool, so that is a big plus. And yeah, just decided to sort of grab it, pick it up. I will try and have a play of this after after I've done the video. But for Pursuit Force, we paid £3 for that. Goes for £2 at CEX and £4 on eBay. Once again, that is complete. Then we've got another game, and I don't think. No, I've never had this, but I have actually got a sequel to this. Just looking, because it's up the top there. So yeah, I've never, and I will admit, when I've played this before, I've just never enjoyed them. And that is Echo the Dolphin on the Mega Drive. So yeah, every time I've played the Echo games before, I've just never really enjoyed them. Never really got to grips on the gameplay. I will say, when I was capturing the footage for this game, capturing the footage for this video, I wish it was a game, I actually got a lot further than I've ever got before. So yeah, I think this is definitely a game that I will probably give another go to. I think now that I'm older and got a bit more critical thinking when I'm playing games like this, yeah, it was a different take. I think when I've played it before, I don't think I've got off the first level, whereas this time, I think when I was capturing footage for it, I might have got to the second or the third level. So yeah, definitely going at that with a different take. It worked out well. So for Echo, we paid £7 for that. Goes for £10 at CEX and £12 on eBay. And then the last game that I picked up from this seller was World Cup Italian 90 on the Master System. So I have got this on the Mega Drive. I've got it on both the Mega Games 1 cart, and I think I've got this cart only as well. So yeah, I saw this there. It is complete. So that was another thing that drove me to pick it up, and the fact that it is a Box Master System game. This one I actually enjoyed. Well, I enjoyed this a million times more than I did Kickoff on the NES. But when I was playing it, I don't know why, it just felt like I was playing Subbuteo. I don't know why. I've not played Subbuteo in years, but it just really felt like that. Obviously, it's very much like the Mega Drive version. The only real difference is in the graphics. This is obviously a step down from the Mega Drive version, but still, really good game to play. Thoroughly enjoyed playing it. And yeah, really glad to actually have another boxed Master System game in the collection. We're definitely getting them thick and fast at the moment. Okay, so moving on, we've come across another set. I will say today is very much bulk purchases. So I've not really got single items that I've picked up. Everything I've picked up is in sort of bundles that I've picked up off different sellers. And next up, we've got a PS2 bundle that I picked up from a seller. So the first two games are actually doubles. I didn't realise they were doubles when I was picking them up, but I thought I'd grab them anyway. So the first one that we've got is The Suffering on the PS2. I will admit I haven't played this one yet. We've had this in the PS2 collection for quite a while now, and I've just never had the chance really to play it. But it looks interesting. Both looking at the front cover and the back cover, it's definitely one that I will put on the list to give a go this year. Not necessarily complete, but definitely give a go. So for that we paid, it works out that we paid £1.67 per game, apart from one which was £1.65. Basically we've got, what, 2, 4, 6 games, we paid a tenner for them. And so Suffering goes for £8 at CEX, £14 on eBay. It is complete as well. Another double, which is also complete, is Primal. Once again, I haven't had a chance to play this one. As I say, I've been very strapped for time getting this video out, so I've had to cut back on capturing footage for absolutely everything. So yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about this one. But as I say, it is one that we've already got in the collection. What I will do with both this and The Suffering, I will compare them to the versions that we've got in the collection, just to make sure that we get the best copy to put in the collection. So Primal goes for £2 at CEX, £3 on eBay. And then diving into the new games for the collection, we've got Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s. Yeah, once again, this was another one I didn't capture footage for, just because I haven't got a... I say that though, I've got the Guitar Hero 3, I think, on the PS2. But I just don't have a lot of room in it to actually set it up and play it. So, yeah, I'll be honest, for me... yeah, I was born in the 80s, grew up in the 80s. I absolutely love 80s music. So anything like this, which has got 80s music in, I will always grab. That one goes for £2 at CEX, £5.50 on eBay. And that is a new one for the collection. We've then got Tekken Tag Tournament. Now, as I've said before, I like my fighting games. I'll be honest, I wasn't overly keen on this one. It was purely the tag team part of it. While I was playing it through, I'll be honest, I didn't know how to tag in my partner, and I just didn't have the time to look at the instructions. But yeah, so I was basically playing through one character against 2 people, and yeah, I'm not a fan of the sort of tag team fighting. I much prefer the sort of straight up one-on-one fighting games. So as a normal Tekken, more than happy with. But yeah, couldn't really get on with this one, unfortunately. So that one goes for £5 at CEX, £7 on eBay. That's another new addition to the collection as well. Then next up, we've got Devil May Cry 2. This one is complete. It's got the DVD in it and everything, so really happy with that. Yeah, I remember playing the original Devil May Cry. I think I played it on the Dreamcast, if I remember rightly. I think I played it on a friend's Dreamcast. So yeah, this one, obviously there's a small bit of damage to the cover. What I'll probably do is swap the cases out and sort of just try and flatten that out a bit. But as I say, it is complete. It's got all the manual, all the inserts, both the discs, and yeah, played it for a bit and really enjoyed it. It's another sort of hack and slash game that I sort of really enjoy now. So for Devil May Cry 2, that goes for £4 at CEX, £5 on eBay. And then the final game that I picked up from this seller is going to be another, what I would call sort of hack and slash game. But it is by far the most valuable game that we got out of this lot. And that is God of War. So, yeah, I really missed the boat with the God of War games. I played a bit of the God of War remake on, I think it's the PS4. Yes, on the PS4. But never really played the original ones. Now, obviously I had a PS2, but I was playing games like sort of the Grand Theft Autos, and some of the shooters and everything like that. Wasn't really playing games like God of War, but I will say, playing them sort of as I've got older, I've definitely got an interest for them. So yeah, whenever I see them now, I will pick them up. And yeah, I've played it a bit to capture the footage for the video. But what I probably will do is when I come to play it sit down and play it properly, I'll probably play I think the original God of War is actually on the HD. There's a HD remake, or not remake, HD re-release on the PS3 that we got from Dan in the collection a couple of weeks ago. So for God of War, that goes for £15 at CEX, £14 on eBay. So yeah, really happy to have that one. Then next up we have got the biggest pickup of the day. So this was a stall that I come across, and yeah, they just had it. They had loads of stuff there, and I was just grabbing everything I could. What I will say is that I really wish I'd got to this stall earlier in the day, because I missed out on some monumental pickups. Yeah, the guy was selling, there was a lot of boxed games that he was selling, and he was selling them dirt cheap. He was selling them for £10 each, and this, what I'm talking about, boxed N64 games. There was Super Mario, there was Mario 64, Mario Kart. There was a couple of others as well, I can't remember. But the one that I'm so gutted about that I missed out on was a complete in-box copy of the original Super Mario on the NES. It is one of my sort of aims for this year, is to actually get boxed versions of all three of the NES Marios. And yeah, basically, as I was walking around, I walked past the store and they had them stacked up on the table. And I went to look at them and they were like, no, they're not for sale, they're not for sale. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, basically they had just bought them from this other stall. And yeah, I got talking with the seller that sold them. And yeah, he said he sold them for £10 each. I was just like, I wanted to cry. But equally, I did get some really good bits from this seller. So first one that we got is a Wii game. I didn't really clock it at the time, but we do have this, and for some, I knew that I had this, and that is Monster Hunter Free Try. Yeah, it is missing the manual, but yeah, I sort of saw it, decided to grab it, but as I say, didn't realise that, or didn't realise at the time that I had it. That one goes for £2.50 at CX, £5 on eBay. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through prices paid, as I say, because this was another big bundle. What I'll do is I will give you a price for the whole bundle once we've looked at everything. This one is, so next up we've got an Xbox game, an original Xbox game, and this is probably the biggest disappointment out of everything that I've picked up, because it is a game that I wanted to add in, and yeah, when I've tried to play it, it just won't play, and that is Outlaw Golf. So when I looked at it when I was at the boot fair, and it was really scratched up, but I was like, it's not, didn't look too scratched that I couldn't sort of put it in the CD restorer and bring it back. And yeah, put it in the CD restorer, got rid of 99% of the scratches, but what I didn't notice is that there was some disc rot around the outer edge of the disc. So yeah, there's no recovering it, unfortunately, which I'm absolutely gutted by. But what I have done is I have ordered another copy of it. I've looked online, and yeah, so it goes for £9 on eBay, and originally at the time that I went to the boot fair it was going for £3 at CEX, but when I've looked tonight just before I've got on to film the video, it's now gone up to £5. So yeah, I bought it from CEX. I think it worked out about £7.95 with the shipping, So hopefully that will be here in the next couple of days, and I'll finally be able to play it. But yeah, as I say, the Outlaw games are, I find them quite funny. So I think there are 4 games in the set. You've got Outlaw Volleyball, Outlaw Tennis, Outlaw Golf, and Outlaw Golf 2. I think that's all of them. I know I've got Outlaw Volleyball on the original Xbox already. And then I think we've got one on the PS2 as well. So yeah, I'm not too sure. But I swear I've got one recently on the PS2. So yeah, once that comes, I will definitely be giving that a go. But yeah, just a bit disappointed with that one. But I will say it's not, for what I paid for it, it's not a massive deal. Then next up, we are going to go into a massive Game Boy haul. And we're going to start off with some boxed Game Boy games. So the first one that we've got is Bust a Move 4 on the Game Boy Color. And as I say, it's boxed, it's complete, it's got all the manual, everything in there. And I will say the actual box for this is in really good condition. It was absolutely amazing how good of a condition it is. And it actually you can tell the guy was a collector, because this actually come in the plastic protector. So yeah, really impressed with that. That was as I say, I was talking to the guy for a while, and he said that he was a collector, but even just looking through the stuff, you could tell that he was a collector with how it was looked after. So obviously the Bust a Move games, I remember them as essentially Bobble Bobble. So yeah, it's a nice little puzzle game, an easy one to play. That one wasn't listed at CEX, but complete goes for £20 on eBay. Then the next box game that we've got is Finding Nemo on the Game Boy Advance. Now, I thought I had this. I was really unsure. Didn't get my phone out at the time because there was literally so much there that I just didn't have a time. Didn't want to leave anything to chance. So I ended up just grabbing it. And yeah, we don't have it in the collection. I thought I had at least cart only. But I was going through the gameplay footage, or my gameplay footage folder, and couldn't find it. And I'll be honest, when I was capturing the footage for the video, I don't remember playing this version, so it was definitely obviously another version that I've played. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed playing it, and yeah, it's another one of these Game Boy games where you play it and it can be quite surprising how good the graphics are. Obviously, I capture all of my Game Boy game footage through my GameCube. So they're going to look a bit better than potentially on the actual Game Boy itself. But even still, really impressed with playing that, really enjoyed it. Finding Nemo wasn't listed at CEX, but goes for £5 on eBay. Not an expensive game, but still definitely one worth picking up. Right, next up we're going to get into the cart onlys, and the first one that we've got is WWF Superstars 2 on the original Game Boy. Now, I remember playing this, or not playing it, I don't think I've ever actually played this, but I definitely remember some friends when I was younger having copies of this. Might have been this or the first one. I will say it's probably this, because I seem to remember the cover art on it. And yeah, I'm not a big wrestling fan by any means, but this one, I did capture footage for this one, which is very rare, but I was interested to play it. So yeah, and I have to say, I actually enjoyed this. I think the only issue that I had with it was that I couldn't work out how to pin. So I'd basically worn my opponent down, tried pressing the buttons to pin, couldn't work out how to pin them. So I ended up having to basically get them on a ring out. I had to sort of keep them outside the ring for 10 seconds while not keeping myself out the ring. And that's the only way that I could work out how to win it. But I did win a match, so that puts this game top of the pile for me with regards to wrestling games. So that one goes for £9 cart only on eBay. But I will say, box complete, this game can go for, I think it's about £70. So I'm definitely going to try and track down a box for this, and yeah, see if we can get that one complete, which would be nice. Then next up we have got another original Game Boy game, and this is Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. So this was one that I recently picked up on the PS1, and yeah, got finally found out what the name of it was from a viewer of the channel, and yeah, saw it there, had to grab it, but just because of sort of the amount of problems that I had with the original one. So actually, sorry, tell a lie, this isn't an original Game Boy, this is a Game Boy Color. It's just whenever I look at it through the case, it looks grey, but it's not, it's actually see-through. So yeah, this is a Game Boy Color game, but the thing that makes this even better is that we actually got the box and the manual for this in the massive lot of games and stuff that I got from Dan the other week. So yeah, that's currently sitting on my shelf waiting to put this cart in. So yeah, as soon as I finish this video, I'm going to have a complete copy, which I was really happy about. But for the cart only, goes for $2.50 on eBay, $2.50 at CEX, and £5 on eBay. I will admit I haven't got the complete in box price on my list, purely because when I put the list together, I didn't have that box. Right, next up, we've got another original Game Boy game, and this one is an original Game Boy game, and that is Othello. So yeah, when I was putting this in to capture the footage, I was like, I haven't got a clue what this game is. I don't think I've ever played Othello. And then as soon as it come up, I was like, oh, I remember, I know what this is, yeah. And there was some bits where I sort of didn't know what I could do. I thought it was more like checkers, where you could sort of jump one space, but no, you can actually jump like a whole row. So yeah, I eventually worked that out, but by that point it was a bit too late to win the game. But it's definitely one that I'm going to, if I ever take my Game Boy out, I'll keep this in there, because it's a nice little sort of time killer if you're looking for something to do while you're travelling or something like that. So yeah, got that one. That goes for, wasn't listed at CEX, but goes for £8 on eBay. And then the last big cart Game Boy game that we've got is it Magi Nation, I think it's called. And yeah, this one, best way to describe it was like a Zelda-like dungeon crawler. Now when I say Zelda-like, I am talking about like the Link to the Past or the original Legend of Zelda, the sort of the old school Zelda games. Yeah, it was an interesting story. I didn't get too far into the story, but you start off, you're like the new kid, the other kids essentially bully you into going into this cave to pick up a crystal. And when you pick up the crystal, the cave starts to collapse, and as you're running out, the floor gives way and you end up falling into this other world. And when you get there, you can't actually understand anyone that's there, and then you get met by someone who sort of gives you a bracelet. You put the bracelet on and then you can start understanding people. As I say, didn't get too far into this, probably only played it for about 10 minutes. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. What I will say as well is it is an NTSC game, but being the original Game Boy, or being a Game Boy Color game, it doesn't actually matter because they're all region free. The only negative that I had for this was that the music in it was so annoying. It really was. It was just, I actually had to turn it down. It was that annoying while I was capturing the gameplay footage. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame with this one. So that goes for, couldn't find it on CEX, but cart only on eBay, it goes for £30. So yeah, that is an absolutely brilliant pickup, that one. Then next up, we're still on this lot from this same seller, so I'm still not getting to the total price yet. So next up, we've got a stack of Game Boy Advance games, and the first one that we've got is Scooby-Doo. So this is based on the Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. Film, or live action film that was released. I will admit I've never seen the film, but obviously I know of it. Yeah, this wasn't too bad. I'd say the graphics thinking back on it now, the graphics were good. but they weren't amazing. So yeah, it was an interesting one. Basically played like you start the first level and you're going into, I think it's called the Spooky Hotel or something like that, and it's an open plan level. So yeah, it was an interesting one. Definitely different to the other Game Boy Advance Scooby-Doo that I've played, which, if I remember rightly, was a side-scrolling platformer. So for this one, it goes for £5 on eBay. No price for CEX. Then next up, we've got King Kong, the official game of the movie. This always gets me, this one. So I've got a couple of copies of this now on different platforms. But this was another one where we got the box from Dan. So if I remember rightly, it is complete as well. So it will have the manual as well. So yeah, really chuffed to have another complete Game Boy game going on the shelf. And yeah, I'd say this one was quite impressive with regards to the graphics and everything like that. It is obviously, it's based on the King Kong film that come out. Is it the early 2000s? I think it come out. Had Jack Black in it, and I can't remember any of the other actors. But yeah, the film itself was okay, and the game, I'll say, actually was quite impressive purely because of the graphics on it. So when the actual gameplay, it reminds me very much of the SNES Jurassic Park game, where you're sort of top down, sort of going around the level, and then all the cutscenes are essentially just cartoon stills. So yeah, a bit of a different take on it, but once again, another game that's going to be a complete. So that one goes for £5, and I'm going to actually just looking at the time. So obviously I'm now up to about the half-hour mark, so I'm going to start rattling on these off a bit quicker just to get through, because I don't want to have to split this video. Yeah, next up we've got Madagascar Operation Penguin, and basically you play as the penguins, and I think you play as the private, and the idea is that you're trying to escape the zoo and head back to Antarctica. Yeah, an interesting one. I played a couple of the levels. I think they were more like training levels to start with, but yeah, definitely a interesting game. So Madagascar, that goes for £3 on eBay, no CEX price again. Then we've got Robots. This is another game that we've got a couple of different versions now. I think this is PS2 and original Xbox. This is a completely different game. It's more of a 2.5D platformer, and yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it's just okay in my eyes. Obviously you'll see the gameplay as I'm talking, or not talking in this instance. So Robots goes for £3.50 on eBay. And then the last Game Boy Advance game we've got is Dexter's Laboratory Chess Challenge. So this is basically a virtual chess game, sorry. And you play as Dexter, and you can battle against a range of characters. I think I chose to have a match against Dee Dee, and yeah, it showed that my chess skills are not up to it because I did get beat in the end, but I did get through a whole match, which was okay. So yeah, that one was quite impressive. I quite like the graphics on it as well. That one goes for £14 on eBay, cart only, so that was a really good pickup. Then, as I say, we are still not finished with this seller. Next up, we've got a whole stack of not N64, Super Nintendo carts. So the first one that we've got is NBA Live 96. This is, I believe this came out before NBA Jam, and this is very much a sort of realistic basketball game, really. This is more sort of falls into the line of sort of a simulation sports game, where it looks very real. It looks realistic for the time, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas the NBA Jams are very sort of cartoony. This one, you're sort of The angle is a lot different to NBA Jam as well. That one goes for £7 at CEX. Sorry, £7 on eBay. Wasn't listed at CEX. Then we've got FIFA Soccer on the Super Nintendo. Now, I don't know why. I've got a feeling we've got this. But it doesn't say that we've got it on here. So, yeah, not too sure with that. But I think what it is actually, that's what it is. Yeah, there we go. We've got it on the Mega Drive. I knew I've played it recently, but just couldn't remember. Yeah, once again, it was okay. It's an old FIFA game. They play very differently from sort of anything. They look nothing alike from the modern games. But yeah, it played all right. That one goes for £5 at CEX. Right, next one. So got another SNES game, and the disappointment still continues on the Super Nintendo, and that is Kickoff. So yeah, I actually managed to pick up both the NES and the SNES version of this. And I have to say, apart from improved graphics, it's just as bad as the NES version. Once again, if you even touch an opponent player, the player gets fouled and you concede a free kick, and yeah, just didn't enjoy it at all. So yeah, that is one that's not going to get played too often. That goes for £4 on eBay, no CEX price on that. Then we've got NBA Jam. So he had this there, I wasn't going to leave it. I think I have got NBA Jam on the Mega Drive, but I haven't got it on the Super Nintendo. So yeah, really chuffed to have that one in. The NBA Jam games are really good, and yeah, just chuffed to have that in the collection. So that one goes for £5 at CEX, £10 on eBay. Then the last Super Nintendo game we've got is International Superstar Soccer. Yeah, we've got a couple of different versions of this now. And yeah, once again, it was there. It was a Super Nintendo game, so that was the real reason to pick it up. Gameplay wise, once again, it's okay. I'd say it's on par with the FIFAs. £3 at CEX, £6 on eBay. And then the last one that we've got is a 2600 game, and that is Space Invaders. So yeah, this one was a bit of a problem actually, because I tried to play it in my 2600 and I could move the ship left and right but couldn't fire. I don't know why. I even put in, I've actually got another variant of the of Space Invaders on the 2600. Put that in as well, and it done exactly the same thing. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with these. So I'll have a look in that, have a look into it. But yeah, I just haven't had a chance to play it. That one goes for, not listed at CEX, but goes for £20 on eBay. And that is everything from this seller. So everything from Monster Hunter, Outlaw Golf, Buster Move, Finding Nemo, WWF Superstars 2, Matt Hoffman, Othello, Magination, Scooby-Doo, King Kong, Madagascar, Robos, Dexter's Lab, NBA Live, FIFA International Soccer, Kickoff, NBA Jam, International Superstar Soccer, and Space Invaders. Got everything in that bundle for £20. So yeah, absolutely over the moon with that. Some absolutely amazing pickups and some really good games in there. Definitely some surprise hits, shall we say. But in addition to that, I did make a additional purchase, and this is yeah, I just didn't want to leave one of these games in the condition that we got it in. So I actually managed to pick up a NBA Jam box and manual. So the box isn't in great condition. There is some sort of it's been crushed a bit at the top and at the sides. If I remember rightly, when it arrived, it was quite crushed up in the packaging that the seller sent it in. So I was really disappointed from it from that respects. But obviously, put it into a box protector, put a new cartridge whatever it is, the cartridge insert, and yeah, it's sort of giving it a bit more rigidity. But yeah, it's probably going to be a game that I will just keep in the box. Yeah, managed to pick that up for £12.49. In complete condition, it goes for £30 at CEX and £45 on eBay. So well worth it to pick it up. So I think the actual cart cost me £105, and then yeah, £12.49. So just over £13.50p for a complete in-box NBA Jam. Yeah, I'm not going to say no to that. Okay, so we've not got many bits left. So next up, we've got a Pokémon lunchbox. I'll get there in a minute. Obviously, it's full of cards, and yeah, whenever I see bundles of Pokemon cards, I'll grab them because sometimes you can find some good bits in there. I will hazard a guess that that is purely going to be bulk, because the woman that was on the stall had a binder filled with the full art cards and anything of value, and she was selling, I think the whole binder she was selling for about £50. I didn't have that sort of money on me on the day, but I ended up picking up the lunchbox of cards for £20. So yeah, quite happy with that. As I say, it's full. There'll probably be a good couple of hundred cards in there, so hopefully I'll find some bits to add to the collection. Then next up, I basically found this next bundle from a seller, and yeah, it was literally just games on his stall. It just games. And originally I put together a massive pile of games, but he just wanted stupid money for them. He was looking for sort of CEX sell price or sort of close to eBay prices, and yeah, I just didn't want to pay it at the boot fair, but I did manage to get a couple of bits off him. As I say, some of these bits I definitely paid more than what I would normally. So first off, we've got a PlayStation 2 demo disc. This is PlayStation World Volume number 27. This one we paid £1.50 for, which once again, I don't normally pay that much for a demo disc, but yeah, just decided I wanted to pick up something, but yeah, is what it is. That will go for about £5 on eBay if I was to sell it. Then we've got a Xbox demo disc, and this one is from, so this is the official Xbox magazine, game disc number 24, and this disc features the demo of Grabbed by the Ghoulies. I have got the proper game complete in box on the shelf, but yeah, once again, whenever I see a demo disc, I will always aim to pick it up. Once again, paid £1.50 for that. Oh, actually, no, I've misread. There wasn't a price listed for the PlayStation demo. The Xbox demo goes for £5. Then, next up, we've got a PS2 game. And this is another one where I haven't been able to capture footage for. But it's actually a different reason for this one. And that is Twisted Metal Black Online. Now, obviously, as the title says, this is an online-only game. But it works with the PlayStation Network adapter, which we do have now, but I haven't actually been able to set up the network adapter yet, because I wanted to try. The servers are probably long and truly dead, but I just wanted to have a go. Yeah, it doesn't work. I didn't have my setup disk, so couldn't configure my network on it. Paid £2 for that. Goes for £15 at CEX, which is a bit impressive considering you can't do anything unless it's online, and £6 on eBay. And then the last game that we got from this seller was a PS4 game, and that is Balan Wonderland. Now, I've heard mixed reactions to this game. I'll admit, I quite enjoyed it. So it is a 3D platformer. The voices are all in Japanese, even on the PAL version. But it is subtitled, and yeah, it was an interesting game. I have to say, I really like the art style on this game, and it's definitely one I'm going to go back to and play when I get the time. Didn't put too much time into it. It was literally just enough time to capture some footage for the video. So for that one, we paid £4 for that. Goes for £4 at CEX, £6 on eBay. Then I picked up a whole load of basically Nintendo themed McDonald's toys. So there are Mario, there's Pokemon, there's Mario Kart, just a variety of different bits. I'll put a photo up at the moment of the different bits that we got. In total I paid £5 for them. Each of them goes for around sort of £5 to £6. There is one that we've got which is the Bowser. It is missing a bit. It's missing the a little fireball missile. That would go for £9 on its own. So I might see if I can either track down another one of these with the missile or try and just track down the missile itself. And then finally the last couple of bits that we got. The last game that we've got is an Xbox One game, and that is Dragon Age Inquisition. So we did pick this up recently. I think it was about 6-8 weeks ago it might have been on a video. But when I tried to install it, it get to about 60% and just wouldn't install any further. So I did say at the time that I was going to track down another copy. And while I was at the boot fair, I saw this sitting there. The case is a bit beaten up, so I'm going to have a look at the other case, see if I can get one that's basically built as per normal, build the best of them, and add that into the collection. I've played it a bit, very sort of Dungeons and Dragons as I'm thinking of it, but yeah, not bad actually from what I have played. So paid £2 for that, goes for £2 on CEX, £4 on eBay. Then I also got a PS4 controller. So this is the Midnight Blue DualShock 4 controller, and yeah, the main reason for picking this up was that it was a controller that I didn't already have. I think at the moment I've got the black and the white DualShock 4 controllers. So yeah, to get a different variant is a big plus. So for that one we paid £15 for that. Goes for £48 at CEX, £30 on eBay. And then the last bit that I picked up, and what's going to wrap up the video, is the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 limited edition gear crate. So when I picked this up, I thought that this was a special edition that I just needed to put a game in. It was only until a bit later on when I was doing some looking and I actually found out it doesn't actually have the game in at all. But what it does do is it actually has a pair of drinking glasses, which I have already got. I actually picked them up at a Greenfields, one of the Sunday boot fairs. Not last year, probably the year before. So I've actually got them in storage in the bedroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them out, put them in this box. It still won't be complete. There's still a couple more bits missing. It is missing the a mess mug and some coasters. So I'm going to try and track them down and actually make it complete. I think it'll be a nice one to have in the collection complete. For that we paid £3 for it, and if we can get it complete, it will be worth about £80. So yeah, definitely worth looking around. I'm not going to spend ages and ages looking for it, but if I manage to come across them, yeah, I'll definitely pick them up and get them added in. So that is going to wrap everything up, and yeah, I'm just going to rattle through the totals quickly before wrapping the video up. So total spend today was £131.49. If we'd picked everything up from CEX that we could, we would have paid £167. And if we got everything we could from eBay, it would have been £472. So yeah, absolutely brilliant pickups. Absolutely loved the boot fair. It's definitely one that I'm going to go to again. It was so well organised. You weren't even as I was there with Nikki, who was selling, and even as a seller, you were not allowed to walk around. They actually have staff walking around the boot fair and sent you back if you're walking around before 9 o'clock. So yeah, really impressed with the boot fair. Definitely one that I'm going to be visiting again. So with that said, that is going to wrap up the video for today. So if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.